We're making cookies. These easy chocolate chip cookies stole our hearts. They're soft, chewy, crispy on the outside, loaded with chocolate chips, ready in 25 minutes, and you don't even have to pull out your mixer. Is there anything better than a quick cookie recipe that you can stir up in a bowl, plop on a baking tray, and in 25 minutes you're enjoying that warm, straight from the oven, not fully set, gooey deliciousness. It's pretty hard to beat, and so is this chocolate chip cookie recipe. The secret to the easy, soft, and chewy texture of these cookies is almond flour, which means that these are also gluten-free and get a huge boost of warmth from the nutty flavor of the flour. Almond flour is made from ground blanched almonds, which means it has a crumblier texture and a sweeter taste than wheat flour. You can actually make it at home. If you have blanched whole or slivered almonds, which means they don't have the skin on them, you can toss them in your blender, grind them down, and in 5 minutes you'll have this light colored flour. If you have almonds that have the skin on them, you can make almond meal. It'll be a little less fine and darker in color, but it should still produce a pretty tasty cookie. Or you can, of course, purchase your almond flour. And if you have access to a wholesale store, that will likely be your best price, or look for sales from your bulk store. I was a little hesitant to buy almond flour for the first time because it is priced higher than other flours, but it's not only tasty, it also packs in a bunch of extra nutrition. So this chocolate chip cookie recipe is a little less thrifty, but it excels in the taste and timeliness departments, so that's a win for us. Now let's make some cookies. I'm going to start by preheating my oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, taking my milk out of the fridge and melting 3 tablespoons vegan butter in the microwave for just 20 seconds. I like to swirl the butter to melt the remaining bits, and that way it doesn't overheat. On the topic of melted butter, you could use coconut oil in this recipe, but I have a little pet peeve about using coconut oil in my baking. Let me know down below if you do the same thing, because inevitably I've done everything I'm supposed to do, taken my milk out of the fridge because you want your ingredients to be room temperature for baking. I've melted my coconut oil and let it cool down, but when I go to add them together, I haven't been quite patient enough, and the coconut oil that's still a little too hot solidifies in the milk that's still a little too cold, and I have a clumpy, not fun start to my baking. So in an effort to keep this recipe as hassle-free as possible, melted butter it is. In a large bowl, add 2 cups almond flour, and to make sure you're not using too much, just lightly spoon your flour into your measuring cup and don't pack it down. Add half a teaspoon baking soda, 1/3 cup cane sugar, about 1/8 teaspoon sea salt, and give that a stir. Next, to your melted butter, add 2 teaspoons baking powder, 2 tablespoons plant milk, and 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. Quickly whisk this together and watch it foam up. This is exactly what you want to see. We've just made a quick egg replacer. Gently fold these wet ingredients into the dry ingredients until just combined, and then fold in half a cup dark chocolate chips. And just like that, we're on to the scooping. So make sure your baking sheet is prepped with parchment paper or a silicone mat. I'm going to use a small cookie scoop, but you can scoop these cookies with a regular spoon, and you can see how crumbly this dough is. So don't be afraid to pack these cookies with your hands and form them into the cookie shape. Use 2 fingers to press the dough down and just tidy the edges. Because we're using almond flour, these cookies have way more protein than a cookie with a wheat flour, and that means they don't spread as they bake. So I made these last night so that you can see how well these cookies keep their shape. So if you drop them on a baking tray and don't push them down, this is what you'll get. If you want some flat cookies, you can flatten them, keep them as a little cute ice cream scoop cookie, or double up the dough and make some bigger cookies. Pop these in the oven for 8 to 12 minutes until they're lightly browned around the edges. And we find that 10 minutes on the upper middle rack of our oven is perfect. There is just nothing better than the smell of freshly baked cookies. This easy, gluten-free, chewy chocolate chip cookie costs us $5.30 for 16 to 18 smaller cookies. If we were to make a more traditional chocolate chip cookie recipe, it would cost us the same $5.30, but for 24 cookies. So we get about a half dozen less for the same price, but we save some time. We don't even have to pull out our mixer. There's less cleanup, they're gluten-free, and they're protein-packed to boot. So click the link below for this recipe, subscribe for a new video every Sunday at 5, and when you make these, make sure you eat one straight out of the oven. Thank you so much for watching. Brian and I love hearing what you think, so like this video and comment below. Let us know what you're gonna try, what kind of recipes you wanna see. Share our channel with your friends and family, and make sure to subscribe and cook with us every Sunday at 5. Happy cooking.